If you haven't seen the previous chapter, look in the description. New year, new me? Oh. We opened up on January 14th, 2019 with RBYM being renamed to Build and Destroy, or BAD for short. The acronym was swiftly changed to BND by basically everyone. The name was decided upon in Zen's Discord, which I currently have no access to. Future me, get access to the archives in Zen's Discord. Another BYM announcement, which will be the last for a while, on January 18th, 2019, an announcement from Sharky99 is published. Is it about BYM reopening, many wondered? Nope, he is no longer working on BYM. Fantastic news for the mech building community. Now they either get to turn to B&D and continue having fun, or they can sit and wait for years for BYM to be re-released. Or some try to make their own game. There are multiple people who went down these three paths. On January 27th, Gravity TNT was released, which proceeds to be used mainly either by people who don't know how it works, or by people making compressed nuclear weapons. Kabeen! On February 14th, Zenuvius polished the game and map, though I never wrote down what exactly he changed. I'm assuming it's changing the map style from a style reminiscent of BYM to a more modern map, fit with mountain walls, vines, and bushes. Also an alien crystal that kills you instantly. A few months later, April 4th, Zenuvius created the two public servers that were always available in the ZNZ Discord. 10 days later, we finally get community activity noted. April 14th brought the first timeline-noted tournament, hosted by the player Skylar LC and the winner being player Pixel Jonah. Somewhere in May of 2019, BYM-era player Pakko, or Telophorus on YouTube, link below, hosted his own tournament. It stops around the semifinals in June and never picks up again. On May 10th, 2019, the first timeline-noted BND faction was created, the SFS, or Space Faction server. I might have an interview for this guy in my recording. There we go. Thank you for taking time out of your day for this interview, Firefox. Please keep in mind that this will be recorded for Timeline Remastered, though I may shorten this for the video. I will be posting the entire interview on my YouTube channel and linking it in the description of the Timeline Remastered. Why did you make SFS?
So, when I played Build and Destroy, I really liked making spaceships, and so from a very young age, I thought they were really cool. It probably came from Star Wars, I would assume, and so I started making them, and then a couple of my friends at the time, I was probably about 14 or 15, would also create spaceships, and so we'd have fights, we'd I don't know how to put that, we'd pretend, we'd shoot each other down, a lot of fun. Just childish fun. And so I thought, oh, what if we all put a symbol on our ships and we were some kind of alliance? And so we made a little group, and then a bunch of people started joining the group, and they're another person said, oh, what if I made my own faction or alliance within your group? And I had kind of an idea. I was well, what if we hosted a server where people could group together, all make their own types of spaceships, their own rules, almost like miniature organizations, and then they could fight, they could alliance, just a faction system. And so that's kind of how it started.
June 4th brought a shadow map, lighting commands, and modes. Later on, the skyboxes in 2025 are not able to change back to the default lighting. That can lead to some pretty funky glitches. On the 7th, Zenuvius replaced the destroyable wall, when was that added, with a tower, and adding a menu with a few settings accessible with pressing Ctrl F. The 19th had Skylar's second tournament, the winner being a recurring player, the Lord 400005. Did I say that right? June 14th had the second timeline-noted YouTuber appear, Znak, who featured and made a few B&D videos for 2 years. June 22nd had the first timeline-noted glitch being discovered on B&D, Power TNT. A player named Zukos Eclipse found a TNT variant far more powerful than normal TNT, and he would keep it. Also, this was discovered through exploits, so it's the first timeline-noted use of exploits. The automation update, Part 1, is launched on July 9th, 2019. Patches for glitches are put out, so you could now use the walls and floor to rotate parts on certain axes instead of only relying on X and Y axis rotation, alongside the indicator for locked garage, which warns you that you may or may not want to enter that specific garage. The proximity trigger is also updated, and that part activates locks based on player proximity, which can be set to other players, other builds, and yourself. Part 2 on July 14th would bring the ability to resize blocks to 0.1 stud size, which is Robloxian measurement for pretty small. He added some more blocks, including the height trigger, the group delete function for the delete tool, and an update for the speed trigger and proximity trigger. Also, drone follower parts can't be smaller than 0.5 studs, which makes it a lot easier to fight off drones. What's a drone, you may ask? Well, it's time that I finally introduce a recurring problem in B&D, community-made builds. Not those. Remember when I brought up giant flying bricks that kill everything? Yeah, that thing. The community names these kinds of builds that focus only on offense and are used to kill everything and everyone in sight, cancers. They can be big, they can be small, they can be ugly, and some can even be a little pretty. One of the most popular forms of cancer builds was the pack hunting drone build. They used parts called followers to find any player who steps outside of their garage and dismantle them. A lot of people, including myself, despise these creations. They are used to wipe the map clean of anyone who wants to play. It ruins a lot of our ability to show off our creations to others. Many choose to leave, but some make their own cancers to fight these drones. Most of these people opt for hunting drones with giant cancers called bricks, usually decorated with decals of memes or just block armoring. They will be very important later on, so keep these in mind. Back to the timeline, August 10th saw Power TNT's removal as it could be abused. Sorry Zukos, find something else to play with. While randomly researching Zenuvius and Zenaria, Zen's partner, in 2022, I stumbled upon something on the Roblox dev forums noteworthy. On October of 2019, he asked if he could get a white hat hacker to poke at his anti-exploit system on a game, and he even considered paying for the service. He mostly got a resounding "bad idea, don't do it cause Roblox, from the forum. Again, I try to link all the information I find in the description, so please check it out for yourself. October 12th sees the first timeline-noted attempt at making another BYM game named NBYM, or Not Build Your Own Mech. On the 19th, a more recent iteration of a Discord server for an older BYM faction that moved to B&D called Pakko was created. I also have an interview for the creator of the Combined Arms Combat Organization. I hope. Last December of 2019 had one more tournament hosted by Pakko, which was finished, and the Lord 400,005 took another tournament win. Seems like we went from hopes for BYM's return crashing and burning, to the growth of a successor, alongside others undertaking making other building games like BYM. Maybe next year will be even better?